I'm going to show you how to make this snowflake. It's about 2 inches by 2 inches. I'm making it with the red heart crochet thread size number 3. I'm using an E-hook. Leave about a 5-inch tail and cast on. All directions are listed down below. Chain 5 after you cast on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slip stitch in the beginning chain to create a ring. Chain 2, 1, 2. This counts as your first double crochet. Double crochet into the ring. Chain 2, 1, 2. Work 2 double crochet into the ring. 1, 2, chain 2, 1, 2, and you're going to create 6 2 double crochet. So we'll do this 4 more times. 2 more double crochet in the ring. 1, 2, chain 2, 1, 2, work 2 double crochet again in the ring. 1, 2, chain 2, work 2 double crochet again in the ring. 1, 2, chain 2, 1, 2, 2 double crochet, 1, 2, chain 2, 1, 2. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2 sets of double crochet, and to finish this round you'll slip stitch into the chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch, and then round 3 you're going to slip stitch into the chain 2 space. So slip stitch into this next stitch here, and then slip stitch into the chain 2. This is your chain 2, you'll slip stitch into it. Then chain 2, slip stitch into the chain 2 space, and then single crochet, wait, let's start back on here. So we slip stitched into this chain 2 space, sorry. So now you're going to single crochet into this chain 2 space. Then you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then you're going to single crochet again. And then slip stitch into the next chain 2 space. So you'll slip stitch here, slip stitch into the next, and slip stitch into this chain 2 space. And then you'll single crochet in this chain 2 space. And then you'll chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet in this chain 2 space, slip stitch into the next chain 2 space, slip stitch into this chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet, slip stitch into the chain 2 space here, so slip stitch, slip stitch again, slip stitch into this chain 2, single crochet in the chain 2, chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet in this chain 2, slip stitch into the next chain 2, slip stitch into the chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet, slip stitch into the next chain 2 space, slip stitch into the chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet, slip stitch here to join, your snowflake should look like this, and now we're on round 4. Slip stitch into this chain 2 space up here, and then you have this chain 2 space, the previous chain 2, you're going to slip stitch right into it. Okay, so you're in this chain 2, and now you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch into this chain 2 space, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into this chain 2 space, chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch into the chain 2. So now you have that. And you're going to slip stitch into the next chain 2 over here. So go across by slip stitching. And then you have your chain 2, you'll slip stitch into it, and then chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch into your chain 2, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into your chain 2, chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch into the chain 2 here, and just repeat that around. So now you have this one. It's turning into a snowflake, and then slip stitch into the next chain 2. If you want a bigger snowflake, you can use a bigger hook, of course, and you can use cotton yarn if you want this bigger. This is the thread yarn. And then you're going to slip stitch into this chain 2, and then chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch, chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch. Okay, and slip stitch into this next chain 2. And then slip stitch into the chain 2 right here. Chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch, chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch, and slip stitch into your next chain 2. You'll repeat this around, and then you'll be done with this snowflake. So if you understand it, this is all there is to it at the end. And then you'll slip stitch into this chain 2, and then chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch, chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch, slip stitch into the last chain 2. slip stitch into this chain 2, chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch, chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch into that chain 2, and then slip stitch to fasten off. And you can slip stitch one more time. Okay, now to fasten off, take your scissors and cut about a 6-inch tail or longer or so. And in this back here, you can just cut it off. That was your beginning tail. Now, you have your snowflake. And you can use this as a loop if you choose to do that, or you can just cut it off. You can use it as a loop for a hook, and you take your thread needle, and on the back you can sew right into the back here. And if you want your loop to be that long, you can stop right there and just sew it back and forth so it will secure it. Whoops, I went back too far. And then this will secure your loop if you want a loop to hang it on something. You can do that 3 or 4 times. When you're done with that, take your scissors and cut it, and then turn it over, and you have your snowflake. Okay, you're all set. Thank you for watching. All directions are down below on my site called CrochetJewel. Thank you.